Well, I think there's quite a lot of, as they say in Russia, vranya going on. I think we have seen the opposite of some of the statements. We've seen an increase of troops over the last 48 hours, up to 7,000. We've seen a bridge constructed from Belarus into Ukraine or near Ukraine. And I think we should, as I've said, we'll take them at their word, but we're going to judge Russia by their actions. And at the moment, the troop build-up continues.
Your build-up continues too. You just said more troops, more equipment to Estonia. Isn't that just going to antagonise the Russians at a time when you say you want dialogue?
Not at all. Look, what we're trying to say to Russia is the consequences of this mass build-up, nearly 60% of Russia's land combat forces on the border of a sovereign nation, will get you the opposite effect. In 2014, when you illegally invaded Ukraine and Crimea, you ended up with more troops on your borders, more defence spending throughout NATO. That's what will happen. That's the strategic error that Putin is potentially about to make if he does invade. And I think it's really important that he understands that NATO is completely united on this. We are deadly serious in how we're going to face the threat that is currently being posed to both Ukraine and potentially to our security. And that's why we've been here today and yesterday making sure that we are all in step, which we are, to make sure the message is clear to the Kremlin.
The NATO Secretary General yesterday talked about the biggest crisis in Europe since the end of the Cold War, and that this is a new normal. Is this a new normal, building up troops on either side and facing each other off?
Well, I think what is certainly becoming tragically normal is the Kremlin using malign activity and threats to try and get its way. And we've seen that both in the physical invasion of Crimea and the occupation of that part of Ukraine. We've seen that right now with 150,000 plus troops on the border of a sovereign state. That is not normal in anybody else's book. Of course, NATO has to respond to that. Of course, Europe has to respond to that. This is not a joke or a light matter. This is a real challenge to the stability of Europe. And one of the ways we can make sure there is no overspill or escalation is to provide resilience to our partners at NATO, and that's what we're all doing.